Hey channel, welcome back. Something a little different this morning. Not out on a vlog ride this weekend because I have a project. And that project is to clean up this. Yeah, that's right. It is a virtual bird's nest under there. I have so many accessories running wires every which way, all connecting to a power distribution hub under the seat. Now, the power distribution hub I've been running, I did a video on a couple of years ago, was the Pathfinder LED power distribution hub, and it's worked great. I use Wago connectors and connect all my accessories through Wago connectors to that hub. Well, my friends at Cowl Motor Gear have come out with a new power distribution hub. And they sent it to me so that I could review and bring it to you guys. This is the new Pathfinder LED Advanced Motorcycle Lighting and Accessory Hub. It's pretty cool. It's got some ports on it that you just plug stuff right into, and it's got adapters if you have different kinds of accessories, like something from Gold Strike or I don't know, the various different accessory manufacturers. They all have their own proprietary plug. Well, this has some connections that you can plug those into, some adapters. I've got a mess of them, universal adapters, because since I have this original hub, I had cut off all the factory adapters so that I could just Wago wire them in to the old Pathfinder power distribution hub. Well, I'm not going to need to do that, but I am going to need to fix the fact that I cut off all the connectors. So I have a bunch of universal connectors that I have some soldered connections. I'm just going to solder them together to all these connections to those universal plugs so that I can then plug them in here. And in the process, I hope clean up a little all of these wires and everything going every which way. Now, there's only so much you can do. Don't expect this to be a Cruiseman result. I'm not going to be doing looming and all of that good stuff, but I'm going to make it look a little better and maybe give myself a little room for future accessories, which I do not have room for right now. So anyway, let's get this seat off, and I've already shown you a picture of what I'm trying to fix, but let me show you a little video of what I'm trying to fix. All right, here's a better shot of this Pathfinder LED power distribution hub. You can see it's got ports. It also has wires coming out of it, similar to the old distribution hub, where you can hardwire it up. Anyway, looking forward to doing this, seeing if it helps clean up some things and make life a little easier. Let's get at it. Now, Pathfinder LED puts a QR code on the box so that you can scan it with your phone or your computer and get to a PDF of how to install, full installation instructions. Also, there's a link in this PDF that takes you to a video that Cruiseman put out a few months back where he reviews this new product in depth and gives you a lot more detailed information than what I'm going to give you today. So I encourage you to go out and watch Cruiseman's video on that. You can find it on his channel, and if you can't find it on his channel, there is a link in this PDF that Pathfinder LED sends you. So I think my task for today really depends on how much time I have and how hot it gets here in Texas in August in my garage. My task for today is just to identify everything I have on the bike and where it's currently plugged into so that I can just sort of get a roadmap for where I want to go with the new power distribution hub. Okay, here's what comes in the kit. The power distribution hub itself, okay? Got a right and a left side for the right and left side of your bike. It says max per port 3 amps. So whatever you're plugging into these things, the max that it can handle in these plugs is 3 amps. Looks like it has USB-C on one side and USB-C on the other side. And then it has the auxiliary wires if you're going to directly wire up something like what I'm doing today with the Wago connectors. Max output 10 amps. We have accessory, left turn, running lights, ground, brake lights, and right turn. The power cable has a built-in inline fuse with a warning label. Do not replace fuse if blown. Contact Pathfinder for replacement unit. Well, that's interesting. They don't want you replacing the fuse. They want to replace the unit if the fuse gets blown. It also comes with some heat shrink tubes. For any of these hard wires that you are not going to be using, you can cap them off by the heat shrink tubes. Heat shrink termination for auxiliary wires. Use shrink tube to cap off end of unused auxiliary wiring cables. So these things, okay? All right. And let's see, we got what looks like a left and a right wire that connects into these plug-and-play harnesses that I think just plug inline to your existing left and right wiring in the bike. We'll show that in a minute when I do or a little bit when I do the installation. One for the left, one for the right, and then once you get those things plugged in line, it looks like the power distribution hub just plugs into that. And so now anything that moves your right or left lights will come through this hub. Also, I got a bag of these universal connectors. So these are the things that I will have to now rewire with my wires currently under the bike that I've cut off all the connectors. I've got to heat shrink, solder these back on there for these universal connectors, and they will fit in each of these little ports. Just a couple of more points. These big wires that come out of this unit, obviously the red is power, goes to the positive side of your battery. The black is ground, goes to the negative side of your battery. And then the green is your accessory power. In other words, things that turn on only when the bike is running. That goes to the accessory point, accessory screw that's on the side of your fuse box. So we'll be doing that a little later. You'll see more what I'm talking about. All right, here it is. My goodness. Just a bird's nest in here. You can see I use Wago connectors. There's the old Pathfinder LED power distribution hub. Yeah, there's got to be a way to clean this up. This ain't no Cruiseman's garage. Air conditioned, beautiful flooring. Nope, this is the other side of the tracks. All right, so I'm identifying wires. I've already identified which ones are my in-of third eye system, blind spot, and then Van-True dash cam, front and back cameras. I've identified where the wires are going to what connectors to this power distribution hub. So then I come over here and I write them down. What's going to what? So that's my task today, is just map everything so I know what to expect and I can find a new home for it on the new hub. How you like that ultimate seat? Ooh, that is hot. All right, well, I managed to get everything pulled apart from that power distribution hub that I used to have, and I got everything mapped by color and placement, so I know how it goes back together. And so there's the old one and the new one. And what I need to do now is go to everything I took off, which, as I said before, doesn't have a connector on it because I've been using Wago connectors. And if it's a light, if it's some sort of light that either reacts as a running light or a turning light or a brake light, then it's going to be something that plugs into one of these ports here. If it's not a light, like my Vantru or my blind spot monitoring system, they're going to Wago into these auxiliary wires on the back, just like they were on the other unit. So now I've got to go through here and take all these universal connectors and cut off the wires I'm not using, make sure I'm mapping correctly the wire colors to what the unit is going to recognize. In other words, for Pathfinder, blue means something. Blue means left turn. White means run. So in this connector, whatever I'm connecting this to, if it's a left turn power source, it's got to go to that blue wire. I don't care what color the wire is on the other end. And if it is a running light, it needs to go to that white. And of course, black is ground. That's pretty universal. Not using the power in this case. Anyway, so I'm using my heat gun. And these cool things, if you don't have these, you need to get you some of these. Soldering sticks. Found them on Amazon. They come in all sizes. I've been using these red ones, and they are the coolest thing. You slide the wire in each end, and you just apply a heat gun to it, and it waterproof shrinks around both wires, and then that black thing in the center is solder, and it just melts and solders the two wires together. Slickest thing since sliced bread. Anyway, it's working really well. So that's what I'm going to do, continue to do that. And you got to make sure when you're using the heat gun around your bike, because remember, all my wires are right here. I'm doing the heating right here. I'm using this cardboard to protect the bike so I don't melt any other wires, any other part of the bike with the heat gun. I'm just putting what I want to solder together right here over top of the cardboard and letting it do its thing. So you guys be careful if you're doing this at home. And I did manage to burn myself with a heat gun because I am a professional. All right, let's keep going. Okay, well, successful installation, although it really doesn't look a lot better under the seat. It looks cleaner because I cleaned it up, but there's just so many cables from things like the Vantru dash cam. So much excess cable that you can't splice. Going to be looking into the INOV combination, INOV blind spot and dash cam. They have a combo out there that will give me my blind spot monitors and a dash cam, and doesn't have, number one, so much excess cable to it, and number two, the Vantru has a remote that will not operate without the remote, and it's attached by a cable. It's up on my handlebars. It's out of the way up there, but under the seat, that remote has a ton of cable that just nothing, you can't do anything with. So it just sits under the seat. So yeah, still looks like a bird's nest under there. Still got way too many things on my battery terminals. I don't know what the solution is for that. But let me show you what it looks like. At least it's cleaner. All right, buried under here is that auxiliary power distribution hub, and all of these white connectors are the new light connectors that went in. Okay, so those replaced a whole bunch of Wago connectors. I now only have 2 Wago connectors for things that couldn't plug in. All right, so they're here. This is cabling for the Vantru. This is cabling for the remote to the Vantru. This is excess wire that goes to my quad lock wireless charging dock up here. So there's that. Just a shit ton of excess wire. But anyway, it is cleaner down there. I'm going to put the seat back on it. And, you know, until we get another solution for some of these other things, that's the best it's going to get. All the lights work, all the turn signals, all the running lights, so it's all wired back up great. It's all waterproof and heat shrinked and all that good stuff. So it's as good as it's going to get for now. But yeah, still room for improvement. Guys, let me remind you also, I am not a Honda Goldwing technician. I am not an electrician. Everything I've done today, I've done on my own bike and at my own risk. If you wish to work on your own bike, you do so at your own risk. All I've said today is simply my opinion, nothing more. I am not an expert in any of this. So if you choose to use any of this today, and work on your own bike, you're just doing so at your own risk. I suggest and recommend that you go find a certified Honda mechanic to install the power distribution block that I put in today, and then you don't have to worry about it. Like I said, I'm not an expert. Okay, disclaimer over. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining me this week on this interesting project. Remember, the first Sunday of August is tomorrow. If this video comes out tonight on Saturday, which I'm going to try. I don't know. Hope to see some of you guys out there for breakfast first Sunday in August. That would be tomorrow. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I'll talk to you again next week, and until then, ride safe and God bless.